The Liberal cabinet has wrapped up its retreat in Toronto, aiming to reset the agenda ahead of a tense fall session. With economic pressures mounting, Prime Minister Mark Carney is promising a reinvention of Canada's economy, balancing spending cuts with big-ticket investments. But will the message resonate? Political analyst Stevie O'Brien is with us to break it down. Welcome, Stevie.
Glad to be here.
Let's start with that bold comparison from the finance minister saying Canada needs to reinvent its economy like it did in 1945. Is that a compelling political narrative or a stretch?
I think that Carney is focused on what he was focused on during the election, which is navigating the Canadian economy through some really trying times. And probably the closest comparison would be the Second World War. We haven't seen this level of unpredictability in the system in a very long time. And I think what we do need is a bold plan to keep Canada sort of at the top of its game.
Okay, so it's not that much of a stretch then. Now, Carney says the government will rein in spending while investing big in housing and infrastructure. Can this government realistically do both?
If anybody could, Carney can. I think what I have found refreshing is his continued focus on the big ticket things that he has promised Canadians through leadership, through the election. He's focused on the economy, addressing tariffs, housing, and major infrastructure investments. He hasn't been off chasing shiny objects. He hasn't had a ballooning set of policy promises while he's been in the chair. We've seen this focus when he first came into the House after the election, and I anticipate that we are going to see it in a very quick fall budget. And I think it's really refreshing that he is remaining true to what he was elected to do and staying on course.
Okay, now the U.S. trade war launched by U.S. President Donald Trump has clearly shaken Ottawa. How much political pressure is this putting on the Liberals to shift away from traditional U.S. economic dependence, and is that even feasible?
Well, I think that there's been a lot of pressure put on a renewed Buy Canada approach. We saw it coming out of the cabinet retreat where Carney made new announcements on sort of Buy Canada federal procurement measures. I think there's a lot of interest. The public service is looking at all sorts of ways that they can enhance Canadian industries, both by domestic purchasing and by promoting our industries to different allies abroad. So I think every effort is being made to find those trading allies and new trading relationships. But that's not going to be an easy sort of quick switch. So while doing that, we're going to have to balance a continued dependency in some sectors with the Americans, and also needing to dance this delicate dance where we're also trying to strike a new deal, a new USMCA. And so there's going to be a give and take depending on the sector, depending on the issue. But I do think Canadian industry should feel empowered, and that the Canadian government definitely has their back in a way that they haven't for a long time.
I want to go back to something you mentioned. You believe Carney is staying fairly true to what he campaigned on. He ran on being a steady economic hand. But the opposition says this is just more of the same Liberal agenda we've seen in the past. Is Carney carving out a distinct political identity yet, or is he still sort of stuck in a transition mode?
No, I think the fact that he's sticking to his major pieces, he's major projects office, housing, defense spending, and tariff relief measures. Those are sort of his touchstones. He hasn't moved away from those. That is very different than the previous government, which had a lot of great ideas and a lot of great initiatives, but it spread itself very thin, trying to achieve everything. I think he's remaining very, very centered and very focused. And he's also not being a liberal ideologue. He is taking good ideas where he sees them. He's not, and I think this is actually neutralizing a lot of the conservative attack against him, and will continue to do so. He's going to bring in a budget quickly, which will take away a line of attack from Poilievre. We're going to see bail reform measures, which is taking another line of attack away from the Conservatives. So while he's not chasing shiny objects and every policy measure under the sun. He is being very thoughtful and neutralizing conservative criticisms.
Okay, well, with housing, the economy, and the U.S. relationship all dominating the agenda, what are the political stakes for the Liberals this fall, and what do they need to accomplish to stay competitive heading into 2026?
So I do think we're going to have to see some real movement and on the major projects initiatives. There are going to have to be some major defense procurement spends. I think we're going to see these things. I would expect to see them outlined in this sort of mini fall budget. We're going to see a focus on defense, on housing, and major infrastructure. By doing so, he's going to continue to unite the provinces in a way that also hasn't been done in last several decades in my read of it. So I think that those are going to be, that's what I anticipate seeing in the fall. I will also say that the Conservatives, with newly elected Pierre Poilievre back in the House, will be looking for every opportunity they can to knock him off course in trying to achieve these touchstone points that he does need to deliver on before the next time we go to the polls.
Okay, we will see how things go this fall. Stevie, thank you for your insight today.
My pleasure.
That's political analyst Stevie O'Brien.